Previously on Power Reviews.
Malfunctioning portal alignment device scattering us across dimensions.
It's Sumerian forest.
There are people who dedicate their entire lives to deciphering codes, and I'm one of the best there is. A spell of transport!
Here at Jungle Karma Pizza.
I know my way around pressure points.
You can call me Master Gel.
I'm a synth-organic biomechanoid.
It's the more Potsners.
I'll go after them.
The selective quantum utility electronic eye line shorted out. Since you departed, the Mark II and the Mark III have both gone offline.
Dr. K! That's not DB!
Vengex.
The good people at Alphabet Soup are taking great care of them.
Connection severed.
Bye-bye, Dr. K. Are you gonna tell me how Mayo managed to squeeze out that distress signal?
Agent R can brief you on that later.
T-Omega.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review.
Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to my new workplace.
I look forward to working with you. You know, I already feel a bond forming between us. I think we're really growing closer. Do you feel it too?
You have no idea. Agents R! I take it you're here for my debriefing? Well, looks like duty calls, Dr. C. Don't call me, I'll call you.
Wait, don't you want to hear my theories about cross-continuum trans-dimensional voids? You can help me come up with a nice acronym for them!
Please tell me you have good news.
We wish.
Perfect. What is it this time?
Perhaps it's best if you just see the surveillance footage. Right this way.
What harm could she do anyway? She's not Dr. K. It's not like she's a world-class hacker or anything.
Actually, what happened?
I think someone just tried to get my attention. Episode 16 of Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Vrak is back. Part 1. After a quick previously on to show off Vakar's defeat at the hand of the new Ultimate Legendary Megazord, we see a sleek-looking figure picking up a random feather from the wreckage of the Armada Megazord.
It's no surprise that my dim-witted brother was too weak to challenge the Rangers.
Would that be Vrak?
Sounds like a safe bet, what with him being in the title of the episode and all. Unless you happen to know of any other random royal siblings?
Is everything alright?
Just bring up the surveillance footage of Mayo, now. Gloating over all his preparations finally coming to fruition, Vrak uses a random cloud of sparkle dust that I can only assume is Antonio's dandruff to summon a giant rune-covered drill out of nowhere. Wait, what was that? Play that again. How the blazes did Mayo get her tablet back? I thought we took it from her when we captured her from the restaurant. Vrak's next step is to capture his power source, and we cut to Orion unsuspectingly closing up shop at the brain freeze, taking the trash out to the darkened alleyway, and then promptly getting jumped by a very familiar pair of glowing blue eyes. That looks wrong. That's gotta be wrong.
That's what the footage shows. They're 1 minute, gone the next.
In his underwater lab, Vrak drains Orion of his life force, plotting to use it to defeat the Rangers, while Troy's daily bus ride snooze fest is interrupted by the entire town suddenly taking notice of the giant drill on the outskirts of town, despite the fact that it had been standing there since the previous night. Seriously, was everyone sleeping on the job here? In the Mega Cave, Gosei and Tensu are shocked to see the Ranger keys slowly turn to stone, and decide that the natural course of action is to send the Rangers off to the quarry for some reason. And that reason is apparently Vrak, who shapeshifts back to his cyborg form just in case the Rangers didn't recognize him anymore.
Vrak?
He came back?
Did you really think that I was gone for good?
But the cat came back the very next day. The cat came back. We thought he was a goner, but the cat came back. He just couldn't stay away.
The inside of this head is a very frightening place. Let's leave it at that.
That's okay. We take care of creatures like you. Just ask the prince.
My useless brother? You did me a favor.
How can you talk like that about your own brother?
He was a fool, but first in line for the throne. Now I'm back to claim my birthright.
Hey, where's Orion?
No idea.
Let's go without him.
Wait. Where's Guy?
That's the next part that we wanted to show you.
The Rangers morph to Mega, busting out their power cards for their first non-kite related use all year, but find that all their elemental attacks are easily neutralized by Vrak's new powers. Where on earth did he get those moves from?
How many disguises does this guy have?
Now you see me as I truly am, Rangers. I am Prince Vrak, heir to the galaxy, but I can still unleash all my other modes. Remember these?
Vrak shows off all 4 of his forms, even though he only intends to use his new one, leading the Rangers to call upon their Super Mega modes, which Gosei had apparently forgotten to inform them had been disabled when Vrak turned their legendary Ranger keys to stone, which apparently also affects the perfectly normal-looking Super Mega keys. He then goes on to exposit at length about how he's got 2 more drills on the way, the alien life force that making this all possible belongs to the captured Orion, and yet he still fails to explain why we still haven't seen him in over 15 episodes. Seriously, has no one been looking for either of these people?
We've been trying, but as far as we can tell, they've just disappeared.
Useless. The Rangers try busting out their old Megaforce blaster, but Vrak quickly blasts them first, and counters their individual weapons just as easily, before catching and attacking Troy by his chest, somehow, and then comparing them to insignificant insects, despite previously being considered an insectoid himself.
You know what happens to little bugs?
We crushed your bug friends, Creepox and Malcor, and we'll do the same to you!
Wow, it really is like we're back in Megaforce. He then blasts Troy, picks up and blasts Jake and Gia, and then lifts up Emma by the side of her arm, gloating the whole time.
Power is destiny!
He then catches Noah's attack and sends the 2 of them flying to join their friends. But rather than finishing them off then and there, he wants to let them suffer in despair first, before granting someone else the pleasure of making the next move in his twisted chess game.
My next move is Prince Takes Knight.
Haven't we already done that episode?
Mr. Ranger, you're talking nonsense.
No, I'm just making external commentary on an involuntary internal monologue. Do you have a problem with that? And sure enough, Vrak returns to his underwater lab to reveal that he's had Robo Knight captured this whole time, and is plotting to use Orion's 6 Ranger powers to take control of him.
I just happen to know how to corrupt it and reprogram you to do my bidding.
Well, that's convenient. I bet he regrets being classified as a 6th Ranger now. Next, Vrak summons Tresnag and Drillhorn, who are apparently always loyal to him, despite the fact that we've never seen them before, commanding them to serve his latest minion, Dark Robo Knight. Which probably would have been a far more shocking twist had we not literally seen him in the process of converting him not 30 seconds ago, or if Vrak had not spent the entirety of the first half of the episode expositing all his plans immediately before implementing them.
Do you have any plans you would like to exposit?
I'm working on it. My mind is a little occupied right now. Maybe I just need to go back to the beginning. The Rangers return to the Mega Cave and are shocked to see that Vrak has, in fact, turned the keys to stone, something that Gosei and Tensu probably should have mentioned earlier, and discover that Gosei has also been completely incapable of locating Orion, something that also could have been mentioned earlier. I swear, the level of incompetence I'm witnessing right now is staggering.
Is he referring to us? I'm not sure.
If the Rangers could just get some form of intel out of their home base, that's it. R2-Squee2, home.
Is he switching over to Star Wars now?
He's been 1 step ahead of us the whole time.
No, not 1 step ahead. That would imply that one has been following the other and maintaining a reasonable distance between them. What has actually been going on is the Rangers have been doing their own little thing over here, or Vrak has gone way over there without having to do so much as check over his shoulder. And there's only one thing to do when your enemy's plans have gone so far out of sight that you can't see them anymore.
What's that?
You have to start thinking about where they need to go to accomplish their goals. And I don't know what that means for Vrak, but for Guy and Mayo, there's only one place they can go to get what they need to even have a hope of putting a dent in our operations. Round up the troops. It's time for me to head on home. As for Vrak, he's apparently now just chilling at the pier, waiting for the Rangers to show up so that he can introduce them to his new right and left hand monsters.
Oh, he meant that literally.
And if that weren't enough, he summons Dark Robo Knight, shocking the Rangers with the revelation that their old friend has now turned against the Earth. Although, honestly, considering that they completely forgot about him for 13 episodes while he remained captured and tortured by one of their worst enemies, it's kind of surprising that it took him this long to turn against them. Of course, before he can finish dealing out great vengeance and furious anger, Vrak commands him to stop, determined to prolong their suffering.
I want these so-called Rangers to witness my drills destroying their planet. We have work elsewhere.
Let's get moving.
What are we going to do?
We go Ultra.
Why didn't we think of this before? Vrak gathers up his troops again and tells Tresnag that it's his time to shine, before heading down to the shore where he's joined by the Ultra Mega Rangers, who in turn are joined by the attacking Dark Robo Knight and a surprisingly treacherous Gosei.
Summon Vulcan Cannon!
I guess you just can't trust some people. Realizing that Troy's pleading isn't going to do the trick, Noah decides to take matters into his own hands by going after Vrak, leading Robo Knight to go after him, the other Rangers to go after them, and then Vrak to release Tresnag to crash their party and absorb their energy. Everybody's getting in on the action now. Eventually, Noah manages to break away from Robo Knight and retarget Vrak, who actually continues to exposit even while dueling, explaining that he's created some orbs that are totally not animal crystals to hold Orion's powers.
You like science. Aren't you excited by the technology that will destroy a planet?
I know that I'm excited. Of course, Noah's scientist cred remains dubious as ever as he continues the duel, all while the others slash and bash Tresnag before defeating him with an ultra-power dynamic strike. Suddenly realizing that the tide is turning against him, Vrak summons the Zombats to power up Tresnag while he and Robo Knight make a tactical retreat, leading the Rangers to bust out one more blast from the past.
Summon Megazords!
These Megazords still rock!
If those things still work, why haven't we seen them used once all year? The Rangers form the Gosei Great Megazord, which Tresnag just rockets straight through. So they summon the Sea Brothers to activate the Sea Gosei Great Megazord and assault the Cerebus Unicorn with a victory-charged Sea Strike. We've got you.
Yes! So much energy! My mission is finally complete, Master!
That's a mega win!
Did you not hear any of that? I said we've got you. Fine then. Let's see you ignore another kick to the face. What the?
Aparicia.
Perfect! They played right into my hands. Tresnag soaked in all the power used against him and has become a drill.
So it turns out that despite all their efforts, the Megaforce Rangers end up furthering Vrak's goals just as much as Orion and Robo Knight. With drills both in the land and in the sea, Vrak is merely one step away from total victory and the total destruction of Earth.
And that's the end of our episode. So, what did you think of it?
Well, couldn't wait for a second date, huh? Fine then. I'll play your little game. It certainly was a blast from the past. Apart from the bits with Orion, the Ranger Keys, and the references to Vikar's recent destruction, it felt like a Megaforce episode planned right in the midst of Super Megaforce's second half, along with all the structural problems therein. I will at least give them credit for making the effort to provide reasons for the return to Ghost Sager footage, tying Orion's kidnapping into Vrak being able to both control Robo Knight and cut off the Ranger's access to the Super Mega Mode does wrap everything up into a nice little package. Of course, it all would have been a lot tighter if they didn't feel the need to restate those plot points at every single turn. Before we even hit the first battle, Vrak has already described his plan, executed it, explained it to the Rangers, and had the Rangers parrot everything back to him. And then he continues to do this again for 2 more battles. Explain, execute, exposit, repeat. Explain, execute, exposit, repeat. Now, I will admit that it is a good plan, but it's not one that I need to hear 50 times. That time could have been far better utilized dealing with the emotional stresses being inflicted upon the Rangers. I mean, come on! An old foe has resurfaced, more powerful than before, captured their friend, and disabled their technology. Then they discover that another friend of theirs, one who they had grown to care for deeply over time, had not only been captured since they last saw him, but had been turned against them, dedicating himself to destroying everything that they once held dear. Why, I imagine something like that would be completely emotionally devastating.
Okay, you can stop talking now.
What's wrong? Don't you want to hear my final thoughts?
Fine, go on then.
Overall, the concepts here may be strong, but the weak and repetitive exposition robs all impact. Not to mention that this is a continuation of a story that had basically been abandoned for the better part of a year. Clearly none of the Rangers have any investment in seeing either of these characters return, so why should we? And finally, at no point do they ever stop to acknowledge one key bit of truth.
And what would that be?
That the only one to blame for their failure, for the completely, overwhelmingly hopeless situation they now find themselves in, is themselves.
That's enough.
I was wondering when you'd get here. Kudos on the whole switcheroo with the hologram and the teleportation beam. You Hexagon kids are more resourceful than I thought. Didn't realize you had those kind of tricks at your disposal.
They're not my tricks.
Really now? Well, you'll have to tell me all about it when I take it back to Alphabet Soup.
Not happening.
Oh, come on. You really want a rematch? Fine. It's your face. Nice trim, by the way.
Figured it was time for a change. Mayo, now!
Get back here! Looks like you picked up a few tricks since last we tangled.
A friend taught me a thing or two about pressure points.
You know you can't keep me here. I'm a quick healer. And very resourceful. It's only a matter of time before the two of you are nice and cozy back at Alphabet Soup.
Might be sooner than you think.
Hi!
Wait. This room, is it?
One of Dr. C's labs?
What game are you two playing at?
Game's over, Venjix. We're bringing database back.